Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Jordan here with another Warhammer Total War Live BattleCast. So in this game, I'm looking to play the Dwarves, I think. We'll see how my opponent plays. He may play Bretonnia, which always makes for a very long, atrocious battle, but regardless, it should be fun, guys. We'll see how it pans out. So I'm going to go ahead and get Ungram, just because he is awesome, and I do like the fact that he has armor piercing against King Louen. So if Louen comes in, for example, or, Paladins, he can chunk like a good, third, or not third, but, a quarter of their HP, and, in those long games, that makes all the difference. So also against the Bretonians, I like to get double Runesmith. It's just so cost effective. I usually don't get the Rune of Grungni on both of them. I feel like having it on one is fine, but again, oftentimes Bretonnia will dive bomb one of them, take them out of the game, and then, you only have one left, of course. So on that note, it might be worth taking it on both, just in case the battles usually go really long no matter what. So having that extra security and that missile resistance is extremely important against Bretonnia. So I think a Thane might be okay. The Master Engineer, I've actually been enjoying him in this matchup. He does give that weapon damage, which isn't terrible, but regardless, he's good at, harassing King Louen, and if Pegasus Knights are flying over, he has armor-piercing missiles with 334 missile damage. And also, guys, nothing to sneeze at, he has 280 weapon strength on his melee attack, which is not bad. So against Bretonian infantry, again, you don't need really any armor piercing against Bretonnian infantry, so it usually suffices to bring, a few Longbeards, and then you can honestly mix in a few Dwarf Warriors there, and that will cover most of your bases. So is also a group of Slayers having one in the back to just do the best they can to deal with Bretonnian cavalry actually works out pretty well. We'll get some Quarrelers here. Just two groups is fine. Sometimes the great weapons can be worth it because, again, they are going to be getting run over by cavalry most of the time, but I am trying to pinch pennies, guys. So actually, let's just do it. Let's experiment. See how it pans out. So let's see what else here. So we have a decent front line. Probably it wouldn't hurt to have like an additional group of Longbeards here. Just, again, this will kind of make up your front core here, or, the Dwarf Warriors are probably fine. So you do want to keep some Dwarf Warriors in the wings to protect against the cycle charging, and every time a Bretonnian player comes in to harass you as the Dwarfs, you need to be using the Rune of Wrath and Rune. That is the most important factor in winning this matchup, in my opinion. Let's see, do I want to bring a Grudge Thrower? Let's see, check out this map. So the Cliff of Beasts. So the problem is yeah, that's the one issue. If the Bretonnian player just kind of turtles up in the corner and then brings a ton of field trebuchets, it's really hard to deal with, actually. But I think we're going to play that game today, guys. I usually don't, but I think we'll just give it a try and see how it pans out. So I have the Dwarf Warriors, the Longbeards, I have the Quarrelers. Yeah, so I feel like my army's looking decent, and I do have a lot of missile troops who will benefit from the ballistics calibration. So on that note, we're also going to pump some chevrons into these guys, because if you pump a few chevrons into them, there's not much of a difference between them and Longbeards if you take a look. So, 15 armor, give or take, and then, the rest of the stats are only a difference of 5. So if you pump chevrons in, you actually get a decent bang for your buck, considering you're paying, almost 100 less. The one thing they don't have, of course, is the old Grumplers. So it's good to have these guys out and about to motivate the boys. So let's go ahead and get started. Sorry for the long-winded delay. I kind of needed to strategize and think out what I wanted to do and how I wanted to approach this game, but more often than not, I usually end up regretting bringing the Grudge Throwers, just because, I don't know, Bretonnia with their dives, they can just punish them so badly if they just want to go all in. So I mean, yeah, a good Bretonnian player can just dive bomb them and then retreat, and then they can just out siege you. So again, against Bretonnia, more often than not, I will find them turtling in the back of the map. So I think I'm probably gonna try and deploy close just to make that march a little less miserable. So put these guys in the front here, put our missile troops in the secondary line here, put our Grudge Throwers behind them. We'll just put them back here. That should be fine, guys. And then let's see here, how do we want to do this? So this is the main core here, and then I also have some Dwarf Warriors who will be in the wings here, and another group in the wings here. And then pulling up the flank, we're going to put our Slayers. So that's kind of our standard formation. These I usually keep in a separate battle group. It's just a little more efficient. Put a Runesmith on both sides. So also another benefit is you can see the Sphere of Influence. I could keep them in the center, but regardless, this should cover my entire army with the buffs. So we'll put them here. We'll put the Slayer King in the center because he's just a gangster like that. Well, let's be honest, it doesn't hurt to put him back with his Slayer comrades, because again, that's probably where they're going to be diving. So put him in group 1, and we'll put this guy, he can be front and center, that's fine. So put him in group 1 as well. All right, so let's go ahead and toggle lock that group and get ready to fight. So it looks like the Bretonnian player is starting off right here. He has a fairly tight formation here of units that are going to be susceptible to that harass. So let's see here. How do I want to do this? I want to move out just a little bit. That's probably fine. So we'll move out just like that. And again, I will keep the Slayers here, and then also, you know, this Master Engineer I can kind of post up here because he is going to be flying and harassing, so I do want to get some missile harass. And we'll just kind of form up right here. So I have a pretty optimal angle. It looks like my grudge throwers are indeed shooting in here. So again, against Bretonnia, you want to target their missile troops because their infantry are pretty low tier, and you know, your dwarf warriors should be able to cut through them fairly easily. So this guy here, and we just need to start posturing up because you see he has this big group here. He's undoubtedly going to charge. So we'll go ahead here, have him start shooting. We'll probably have him start shooting at King Louen if possible. And we'll get him just constantly repositioning and getting ready. So pull the runesmith out here, and we got to get ready to... Oh, I almost forgot. I left that group unprotected there. So we'll pull him back here, and once he's close enough, we want to get that Rune of Wrath and Rune off as soon as possible. So you can see the Bretonnian infantry corps is taking some substantial damage. We're going to go ahead here, and we're going to start taking some pot shots here, which is going to be pretty good. And we're going to pull in the Slayers right on top of that, guys. So this other runesmith right at the same time, I can go ahead and cast that there. And those are Grail Knights, so they're going to hurt pretty bad. But, you know, again, there's not much we can do here. So we're going to pull Ungrim in here and just, you know, do the best we can, guys. And also the runesmiths are in here. I have this other one over here, so we're going to use the damage debuff here. And I don't want to overcommit my troops in here and pull them in, but regardless, there's no more threats here. So I can go ahead, I think, and safely pull them in. So we're going to use this. And they did a pretty good job absorbing that charge. I'm going to pull these groups back and then also pull these guys and then just keep these guys front and center to deal with that harass. So right now, just check for different damage debuffs, and you can see the Slayers are taking pretty serious losses. That's okay, as long as they're doing, you know, relatively equivocal damage to these guys, and make sure to get him on King Louen, which is extremely important. We'll get the Slayers over there as well. And right now, it looks like my missile, yeah, the trebuchets were indeed shut down. So I do have this group here who is firing point blank into these Pegasus Knights, and then this other group of missile troops here, we want to reform our ranks here. Reform here, and that's actually not a terrible situation. So we'll reform in the front line in this respect, and just continue to work on this group. It's extremely important. And against Bretonnia, one of the most crucial things is to constantly reform your ranks. So it looks like my Rune of Wrath and Rune is back up. So I'm going to go ahead and use that on the Pegasus Knights here. We're going to get these guys back on the field trebuchets and get these guys reformed. And I think we're feeling relatively comfortable, guys. So you got to make sure these guys are not chasing too far here. So we'll go ahead and reform that rank. And we want to be looking for Cav here, and it doesn't look like there's any really pertinent targets, so we'll go ahead and engage here, and we'll go ahead and engage there, and that's looking okay right now, guys. So we'll move this guys out here. We'll put these guys just a little bit closer so they can get in the pocket here. And what is this? So, oh, it looks like he still has some Grail Knights trapped here. That's pretty funny. So we'll go ahead and send the Runesmith to the front line, use this damage debuff, and we'll go ahead and start trading with this Peasant Bowman back there. That is probably fine. So looks like the Master Engineer, we can use our Ballistics Calibration right now, which is going to be quite strong. We'll have him shoot at King Louen. We'll pull the Slayers back just a little bit. And if he dives, you know, he's coming right into Ungrim. So that's going to be really, really good situation. So he dives in there, which is fine. And we want to use the damage debuff and check for the Rune of Wrath and Rune. So it doesn't look like it's up at the moment, but that is okay. These grudge throwers are now back online, so we'll have them start shooting here. And again, he is continuing to just punish me in here and just come in hard. And it's very hard to deal with that, but regardless, I'm going to lose some aspect of this battle, whether it be, you know, the front line, the back line. But at the end of the day, if I can deal with one of the major components of this threat, I think we will be okay. So this Master Engineer is continuing to do pretty good work. The Pegasus Knights are getting worked down, and my Dwarven line here is holding, especially in conjunction with this Corollary support. So I'm actually very happy right now that I decided to bring the Master Engineer as well as the Great Weapon alternative. So keep that Master Engineer shooting, reform the battle line here, reform here, and the Slayers are still holding on pretty well, guys, so can't complain here. We'll go ahead and use this damage buff just preemptively because I know he's about to come in and I don't want to have to think about it later. And it looks like, you see, that actually warded him off a little bit, so I'm happy about that. And these Corollaries here are still having a bit of a hard time, guys, to be honest. So the Slayers are coming up here. We'll pull these guys back here. And it looks like some of these troops are isolated now, so they're going to take some damage. But we'll keep that Master Engineer shooting at King Louen. You can see he's actually wearing him down a little bit, guys. So right now, I think we're just going to pull the Slayers over to deal with these Grail Knights because those troops are kind of a bit of a lost cause. So check for the Rune of Wrath and Rune here. We'll use it on the Grail Knights 1 and probably hold on to the other one to see what my opponent decides to do here. So we'll go ahead and pull Ungrim back to the front line. And I think this Runesmith is doing a pretty good job helping in the front line as well. We're going to pull him back because I don't want him to be an isolated target for these guys. So continue to cycle this Runesmith around, use the Rune of Wrath and Rune on those guys. Let's see if he gets it off. It doesn't look like it. But regardless, these Longbeards are holding up pretty well, so I'm going to move this group to the front line. Continue to shoot here. Keep that Master Engineer shooting there. It's very, very important to keep that constant pressure. You don't want to let him sit and get comfortable. And it looks like these guys, yeah, unfortunately, they kind of were isolated off in the boons here. So we'll pull him, and it looks like here comes the charge. So we're going to go ahead and move him in. We're going to move Ungrim over there, use the speed buff, and I think the Rune of Wrath and Rune is ready again. So let's go ahead and look. And it is. So we're going to use it on those Pegasus Knights. And at the same time, I am taking a charge from these Grail Knights here. So we'll switch those Quarrelers on here. And we want to keep this guy shooting on those guys here. We'll shoot here. And these Dwarf Warriors actually return from route. And they could actually make a big difference here going after those ranged units there. So Ungrim's kind of having a little trouble getting into the combat, but it's okay. He is trying his hardest and pumping his Dwarf legs. And yeah, if those Dwarf Warriors could actually shut down those guys, that would be pretty big. Right now, you can see King Louen up in the sky, so we'll go ahead and pressure him, shoot him just a little bit. I feel like that's going to be a very, very valuable target for me. And let's see, this Runesmith does have some buffs at his disposal, so Ungrim is doing quite well. It looks like he's actually wavered these Grail Knights here, so that's really, really important, guys. These Slayers, guys, they're still fighting, and also having the great weapons on these guys is very useful in this matchup here. So it looks like they're kind of glitching out in the sky. They're trying to decide if they want to land. And again, just keep shooting King Louen. Use the ballistics calibration every chance you can. And let's see, do I have... I know one of my Runesmiths got picked off, so that's what I was telling you guys. You know, even if the Runesmith does get picked, it's pretty important to bring the second one with the different buffs, because in this long battle, it's going to make all the difference. So again, keep pressuring him there. We can go ahead and pull these Quarrelers into melee since they're not really cost-effective fighting anyways. And let's send these guys back here after those peasants. And we want to get the Runesmith back because I think my opponent is starting to pick up on the importance of that Runesmith and how it's doing really good work against him. So we'll do that. And oh, looks like this other Runesmith came back. So even if I can only get, you know, the one Rune of Wrath and Rune off before he goes down, that's going to be a pretty big deal. So it looks like these guys are indeed broken. So I'm going to go ahead and start focusing King. I don't want to focus King Louen here. Yeah, check the Master Engineer. Start targeting him there. And we want to get Ungrim Iron Fist. And man, I do not know what those Grudge Throwers are doing. I probably had them like targeted on something. And, you know, they just decided to over pursue because that target ran out of range. So we'll go ahead and keep hammering King Louen here. We want to use these buffs every chance we get. And also just kind of take a quick moment to just survey the battlefield and see what's going on. We'll use the Rune of Wrath and Rune here, and I guess we might as well just have that Grudge Thrower turn and fight here. We can put these guys on the Peasant Bowmen, and this Master Engineer is just getting his pot shots off on King Louen, which I'm very happy about. And right now he's trying to cheese out Ungrim with his last stand here, which is definitely a good idea. Cannot fault the guy for doing it. It's a very, very good idea at this point. But it looks like Ungrim is definitely going to slay King Louen, and maybe this Master Engineer can actually snipe him. That would be really nice. So go ahead and keep sweeping around these units. Keep that Master Engineer shooting at Louen. And maybe these Grudge Throwers, to be honest, I can just have him shoot boulders to keep him from coming back. I'm not sure what else he has left. It looks like he has some cav out on the wings. So I'm going to go ahead and reform, get a little bit of a tighter pocket, just continue to pressure. And it looks like Louen is indeed broken, so he's no longer wavering. Use the damage buff here and pull this guy back here. And I think, yeah, he's still shooting at Louen. And looks like everything's running off, guys. I think this may be it, but that Paladin is still steady, unfortunately. So let's pull these troops here, shoot at him. And what is that, a damsel over there? So we'll send the damsel. Oh, no, it's a Paladin. Okay. So we'll go ahead and reform here. Freaking Grudge Throwers is still trying its hardest. So what does he have left? Some peasants. And yeah, so we'll go here. And I don't want Ungrim to get shot at for free. So we'll go ahead and pull these guys up here and use the Rune of Wrath and Rune. To be honest, that should be enough to just kind of, you know, rout off that group of units here. So we'll just continue to advance. We'll use this Grudge Thrower to pressure whatever groups are sitting around. And yeah, he actually is reforming ranks. He has a healthy Paladin, you know, a few other troops here. So we'll go ahead and get these guys here, and we can get them here and here, and we'll put them all in just one big haggard battle group. This is kind of the way of things in the end of times here. So we're just going to march up everyone together, just kind of keep a unified clan going on here. And it looks like, yeah, he's not going to be able to last because, again, I got to detach the group too. The Dwarves in this long, atrocious warfare, if they can stabilize like this, it's really bad because their units have extremely high leadership, so it's going to be hard to chase them off the battlefield. Looks like he has some units back there, and these guys are coming here. Is this a... Yeah, okay, I thought that might have been like another Grudge Thrower group. So also keep the Slayers back. You don't want them to get too ambitious. Pull Ungrim back here and go here. And where's that Master Engineer? He's almost in range. He's going to be so good in this situation. So we'll go ahead and use the Rune of Wrath and Rune here. And we can use the other one on... Just why not? Let's just put on those Pegasus Knights. So looks like he's going ahead, coming in after Ungrim, which is fine. Ungrim's going to use these. And he also has these troops here, which is fine. And it looks like he is, in doing this, he is going to get surrounded a little bit. And we can go ahead and collapse here with these guys, have them pull their melee weapons out, and get this Master Engineer shooting here. Ballistics calibration, we'll pull the Slayers in here, and I think we might be okay. Maybe these Slayers can finish off King Louen, we'll see. So it looks like Ungrim's still in pretty good health. If I'm not mistaken, he does have charge resist, which is pretty good. Oh man, and he just karate chopped King Louen. You can see King Louen going off the horse with the Slayer King there. So definitely a very, very good game, and actually bringing those Longbeards with their great weapons was really good. When they were getting constantly cycle charged by Grail Knights and other elite units, they were putting up a good fight there. So you guys can see the double runesmith is pretty essential. And the master engineer, though he didn't generate big numbers, you see he didn't take any damage. He's kind of an out of sight, out of mind type character. And on that same note, he also, had armor piercing and was really crucial in whittling down the paladin and King Louen and all those different type of troops. So, and of course the Gretchers actually performed okay. They did pretty good damage to my opponent's forces before they got there. So again, good game to my opponent, Skull Ash Trey 760. I look forward to seeing you again on ladder, and I hope you guys enjoyed that live battlecast. Have an excellent night and take care.